In this video, we're looking at the preparatory exam that was written in Gauteng, September 2023, paper 2. So getting straight into the question, we'll just be doing question 1. Here it says VAT and bank reconciliation, 35 marks. So let's just quickly see what this question has in store for us. So value added tax. The following entries relate to Raimi stores for the VAT period ended 31st August 2023. A standard rate of 15% on VAT is applicable, so that's very important to note that our VAT here is 15%. Okay, so we are required to calculate the amounts denoted by A to C in the table below. So that's our 1.1.1. And then here's A, B, and C so that we can see there what's going on. So we have information A, transactions on 31st August 2023, goods returned by debtors, purchases of trading stock, and total sales. So now it says total sales include zero rated goods that should have been sold for 10,200. The bookkeeper has included VAT of 1,530 on these goods. This must be corrected. So here we're noting that the total sales include zero rated goods that should have been sold for 10,200. The bookkeeper has included VAT of 1,530 on these goods. So we are supposed to correct that. Okay. So the first one, we looking at goods returned by debtors. This is VAT exclusive, VAT payable, and VAT inclusive. So this doesn't include VAT, this one does include VAT, and then this is the VAT payable. Okay, so the very first thing that we're supposed to do, calculate the VAT inclusive amount on A. Okay, so let's quickly jump into answer book. So we have the two amounts there. The VAT inclusive amount, which is at these two, 16,800 plus 2,520. So it's 16,800 plus, let's see the second amount quickly, 2,520. 2,520. Let's just quickly see what that gives. 16,800 plus 2,520. So that's 19,320. So it's 19,320. Right. So now we are moving to B. So on B it says we're supposed to calculate the VAT payable amount on purchases of trading stock. So this one is VAT inclusive, 379,500. So it's 379,500 because this is VAT inclusive, which means it's 105%. But here we are looking at VAT payable, so we want 15% of the 115. Okay, let's just see. Okay, no, sorry, they made a mistake. It's what we want over what we know. All right, so it's 379,500 times 1.5. Okay, so that's 49,500. So that's 49,500. Right, now we move to C. Remember that on C there's an adjustment that we have to take into account. So the total sales include zero rated goods that should have been sold for 10,200. The bookkeeper has included VAT of 1,530. So what happened here is that these goods were supposed to be sold at 10,200, but instead they were sold at 1,530 more than, because that includes VAT. Okay, so what we could do here, to see we're given the VAT exclusive amount. So first things first that we could do is just subtract the 10,200 from the 821,000, so that we are left with goods that are goods that are not exempt from VAT. Okay, so we have 821,000 minus 10,200, and that will give us, okay, let's quickly see, 821 minus 21 minus 10,200, which is 810,800. Okay, so now we are supposed to calculate in this the VAT payable. Okay, so the VAT payable should be 15% of this amount. Okay, so it's 810,800 times 15%, or you could just simply say 15 over 100. So this is times 15%, which is 121,620. So it's 121,620. So what really happened in this question, in case you're confused, we have just removed the 10,200 because they were supposed to be sold at 10,200, right? This is VAT exclusive. That is why we just subtracted the 10,200 from the 821,000, right? So we ignored the 1,530, and then from there we just simply calculated the VAT payable after we have deducted this these goods, right? Now we are moving on to 1.1.2. So 1.1.2 says, okay, that's 1.2. 1.1.2 says Dan Souls regularly buys electrical equipment from Rami stores. The owner, Saad, offered Dan a special price of 40,000 VAT inclusive. So let's see what happened here. The owner, Saad, offered Dan a special price of 40,000 on his purchases instead of the normal price of 46,000, on condition that Dan paid cash without any documentation. Okay, without any documentation, right? So advise Dan what he should do. Provide 1 point. So actually, what the owner is doing here is called tax evasion, right? So they are not going to pay the VAT if no documents are issued for this transaction. So they are actually evading tax, right? So this is a form of fraud. This is a fraudulent activity, and it is really unethical. So we might advise Dan on not to partake in such a transaction because it is unethical and it is a fraudulent activity. Then it might lead to prosecution if SARS finds out on such transactions. Okay, so one piece of advice we would say that he shouldn't we could say participate in fraudulent activities. So another piece of advice we could say it is unethical to partake in such a transaction. Some could say, yeah, you could report such activities to SARS. So there could be any reasons you could say. Some could say he would not be able to receive a claim from SARS if he's purchasing without any form of documents. So there's a lot to this question, but since they said provide 1 point, okay. So we are moving on to the bank reconciliation and internal controls now. So this part might be a bit challenging. So let's just tackle it slowly but surely. Right, so the bank reconciliation and internal control. The following information relates to Zay Traders for June 2023. The official bank statement used for reconciliation is sent by email to the business on the 25th of each month. So the dates are very important there. because there might be some outstanding transactions. Okay, so 1.2.1, we are required to show the entries that must be recorded in the cash journals by completing the table provided in the answer book. All right, so we have information A, extract from the bank reconciliation statement on 31 May 2023. Okay, so this is what appeared on the bank reconciliation statement on 31 May 2023. So what is happening here, we have the bank reconciliation statement on the 31st of May 2023, whereby we were telling the bank to fix their errors last month, which means it was at the beginning of June 2023. That's what we could say. So on this bank reconciliation statement, we were telling the bank to fix some errors that or some transactions that they may have not recorded during May 2023, right? So now it says the outstanding deposit on 30 June 2023 appeared on the June bank statement, but the deposit on 9 June appeared as 12,420. Okay, there's another error there that we need to take note on. So what I'd like to do is first identify what piece of information needs to go where. Does it need to go to the CPJ? Does it need to go to the CRJ? So that's the first thing you would just do, so that everything just works as smooth and fast. So it says here the outstanding deposit on 30 June. So they are just talking about this outstanding deposit on the 30th of June 2023, 65,164. It says appeared on the June bank statement. It's fine. So it appeared. We told the bank last month to fix their error. So now it appears. So we'll just scratch this one out. It's okay now. So and then it says, but the deposit on 9 June appeared as 12,420. So this one here in the bank, it appeared as 12,420, which means the bank only got to receive 12,420. Now there was a loss of 10,000, right? So we are supposed to fix that on our CPJ, cash payment journal, because we see that the business has lost some money and we need to correct that on our side, right? Then the second bullet point says EFT 121 appears on the June bank statement with the correct amount of 13,450. So EFT 121 appears on the June bank statement with the correct amount of 13,450, right? So what is happening on this transaction is that we told the bank to fix an error, whilst we also made an error in our account, because we told the bank that we have paid 14,350, but instead what we have paid is 13,450. So we have overstated our payments, which means we have to decrease our payments by adding back to our CRJ. Right, I hope that was clear. Right, so bullet point number 3 says all other entries appeared correctly on the June bank statement. Okay, so favorable bank balance, okay, in the bank as per the bank account ledger. So number 118, it appeared correctly, so we don't really need to do anything about that. So what we need to focus on is this one and this one, right? So on our CPJ, the first thing that we're doing on our CPJ, it says calculate the bank account balance on 30 June 2023. All right. Okay, so here's our CPJ provisional total. That's it. And then we have, okay, we'll just have our calculations by the side there. So the first one is 22,420 minus 12,420. 22,420 minus 12,420. So always show your calculations there. 10,000. And then on our CRJ, we have this one. So it says EFT 121 appears on the June bank statement with the correct amount of 13,450. So we might have swapped some values there. Let's just see what's the difference between the two. So it is, let's see, that's 14,350 minus 13,450, I hope. Okay, and then let's just check the difference there. It's 14,350 minus okay, so that will give us 900. All right, then we move to B. It says B, before inspecting the June bank statements, the provisional totals in the June cash journals were that and that. Okay. All right, so now information C says information on the June bank statement from Perfect Bank, which did not appear in the June cash journals. So transaction fees of 890,000. So transaction fees of 890. We're done with this one. Okay, I'll just place a tick. So interest on credit balance 108. So remember that if we have a credit balance on our bank account, like in the books of the bank, Perfect Bank, that means Perfect Bank owes us money. We are some sort of a creditor to them, right? So it will always be a credit balance if we have a positive balance in our bank account in the books of the bank, right? So this goes onto our CRJ as 108,000. Okay, so let's just confirm. Yeah, 108. Right, and then we're done with this one. So a debit order to the city council for 25,100 for water, electricity, and utilities. So the debit order, it appears on the bank statement, but it doesn't appear in our CPJ. 25,100 we're paying there. Okay, and then fourth one says a deposit of 42,200 from Growth Bank, being a fixed deposit that matured together with the interest. So 42,200. 42,200. Cool. And then EFT 182 for 3,121 in favor of Ace Garage Dealers was recorded in the correct journal. Right? So we have made a payment of 3,121. Now, Perfect Bank, however, reflected it twice on the June bank statement. The bank informed us that they will rectify it on the next bank statement. So this was recorded perfectly in our relevant journal, which is the CPJ, but we need to fix this on the bank reconciliation statement because the bank they deducted our account twice, right? So now it says data I pay sent Zay traders proof of a direct deposit into the business bank account of 7,860 on 26 June 2023, being a payment on her account. So the bookkeeper entered this in the CPJ. So remember that when we checked, it says 25th of every month, right? So on whatever happened after the 25th is not on the bank statement. So we're supposed to include this in the bank reconciliation statement, right? So these two go on to our BRS for now. And then the last bullet point, it says ATM withdrawal by Zay, the owner, for personal use, 6,000. So this did not appear in our CPJ. So we will have 6,100. Oh no, is it 6,100? No, 6,000. Okay. it's just 6,000 there. Right. So our next item that we're looking at is information C. So the following entries were in the cash journals for June 2023 only. So a deposit of 10,000, EFT number 1886780, EFT number 1892468. So all of these are supposed to go to the BRS. Right. So first things first, we will just check into the bank account balance just now. What I need us to focus on right now is bank. Okay, supposed to say balance as per bank account. Right. And then now we go here and then say balance as per bank statement. Right. So now let's check what we had on our bank statement and bank account. So favorable bank balance as per the bank account in the ledger. We are given here on the 31st of May, which was on the 1st of June, 65,000. So our opening bank balance was 65,000. So it's 65, right? And then before we do that, we just need to complete our cash receipts journal and our cash payments journal. So what I like about the bank reconciliation statement, or the bank reconciliation per se, is that you can just do things anyhow. You can start anywhere you want to. You can just do everything all at once. So there isn't any like specific way that you should follow when doing your bank reconciliations. It's just much easy and fast, also efficient to do it in any way that you like, in any order. So it's not like you're supposed to do your bank reconciliation and internal controls first, now calculating. You can do everything, just fill in the information all at once if that's what you're comfortable with. But if you feel like you're just going to be confused, take your time, but you don't really have time in the exam, so you need to make sure that you work smart and not that hard. Okay, so another thing that we need to look at here when calculating these errors that were made, and make sure that we didn't leave anything else out. Okay, so now here on this transaction, the data, we didn't take this one into account on our CRJ. So it says data I pay sent the traders proof of a direct deposit into the business bank account of 7,860 on 26 June 2023, being a payment on her account. So the bookkeeper entered this in the CPJ, right? So as this appeared in the CPJ, please pardon me, I read this incorrectly. So this is supposed to go into the CRJ. I don't know what confused me there. So this person paid, and they sent proof of direct deposit into the business bank account of 7,860 on the 26th. Oh, I was actually correct. I just forgot the second part. So yeah, it goes both into the CRJ and the BRS. Okay, so I just forgot the first part. Please beg your pardon there. And then the bookkeeper entered this into the CPJ. So this is a receipt. We're supposed to receive money, and our bookkeeper said, no, this is a payment. So the first thing that we need to do is cancel out the incorrect entry into the CPJ, and then now we add the 7,860 straight into the CRJ. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna take 7,860 and multiply it by 2, because the first entry is to cancel out, and there's the second, and then the second entry is to do the correct entry. So let's just quickly see what this gives. So that's 77860 multiplied by 2, so that's 15,720. So now we can just give balances on both sides and see what we just get. So that's let's start with the CRJ. Let's just quickly add and make sure that everything is correct. Plus 15,720. So that's 669, 328. Okay, and then calculate this quickly. Let's say PJ 90 plus 25, 100 plus 6,000. So here I'm getting 610,290. Okay, so remember that whilst we were doing this is our opening balance, in case you were confused. Now we are adding what we got for our CRJ, which is 669,328. Then our payments were 610,290. And then this is from CRJ, this is from CPJ. And then we have 65 plus 669, 328 minus 610, 290, and then that's 124,038. So that's 124,038. Right, excuse me. So now balances per bank account, which is on the debit side. Okay, and then we have our balances per bank statement, which is on the credit side. Right, so our debit, we have 124,038, and then now we're going to look at all of these that are not in our bank statement and should be in our BRS. And then the first one, which is this EFT, it says EFT 182 for 13121 in favor of Ace Garage Dealers was recorded in the correct journal. Now, Perfect Bank, however, reflected it twice on the June bank statement. The bank informed us that they will rectify it on the next bank statement. So we are just supposed to remove one of these amounts, which is 3121. Okay, so we are crediting credit bank error 3121. So we are crediting because they deducted money from our account twice. Okay, so we're just basically done with this one. Alright, now we look at information C. It says the following entries were in the cash journals for June 2023 only. So a deposit of 10,000, that's an outstanding deposit. Also, so outstanding equal, okay, we could just say credit outstanding deposit of 10,000. Okay, so that's 10,000. Right, and then EFT 188.67.80. That's an outstanding EFT. Okay, so debit outstanding EFT. Okay, so here it's 188, and then here it's EFT 189, 188 and 189. Alright, so the first one is 67.80 and 24.68. So 67.80, 24.68. Right, so now our balances per bank statement, it should be our balancing figure. So now let's just quickly check what we have on our debit side, because we can just work with our debit side there, and we'll have our balances per bank statement there as our balancing figure. Right, so now let's just quickly add and see. So that's 124, 038, 67, 24, 6780 plus 2468. So that's 133, 286. Right, so that should be balancing 286. Right, and then should be 133, 286 minus 10,000 minus 3121, which is 120, 165. So that's 120, 165. Right, remember that there was this transaction, so I guess this one, yeah. So data I pay sent Z traders proof of a direct deposit into the bank business account of 7860 on 26 June 2023, being a payment on her account. The bookkeeper entered this in the CPJ. So I guess here the error was just on the CPJ, regardless of the dates, because we did not take into this transaction onto the onto the BRS. So I guess the error was just on the CRJ and then the recording. Right, so we are basically done with the BRS, and now we are supposed to explain and quote one piece of advice. Let's just read what's happening there on 1.2.4 and quickly. So it says, the auditor identified problems relating to deposits. Explain and quote one piece of evidence. So with deposits, remember that the very first one that we encountered here was 12,420, but we actually sent someone to deposit 22,420, because that's what we recorded on our CRJ, but there was just only 12,420 received by the bank. So a deposit, our piece of evidence is that deposit of 22,420 was 10,000 short, as only 12,000, okay, let's include the rent, 12,420 was actually deposited at the bank. Right, so one piece of advice is that okay, before we give advice, we could say this is rolling of cash, or the possibility of theft. Okay, well, we could say just theft. And so that's pretty much what we had to do today in this video. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for watching. If you didn't understand any of the concepts that we were covering in this video, please feel free to drop a comment in the comment section. Also, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Ask any accounting related questions. I'll definitely see you in the next video, where we will be making or just going through more past accounting papers. Cheers.